Good morning, class 8. Uh, I guess this is my first class with you with SSC. So I don't know how far I'll be able to explain and get things done for you so that it will be easier for you to understand. I don't know, but I'll try my best and I hope I'm able to be of some use to you guys. How are you guys doing? And I have been with you with some parts of English, and so now we'll be there on SSC. So this part we are doing is a chapter 2 we can start with. I'll just start with the expansion of British power. Okay, what actually happened with the British expansion? Now see, for knowing the arrival and the expansion of the British power, we must know what actually happened before that. So if we don't know that, so I guess there is going to be a gap in between which we will not get to know. Correct? So we have to know that first. Then only we will be able to justify the part of it. Correct? So I'll just go back a little bit and then we'll start. It was about the company actually established power. Now what company I'm talking about? I'm talking about the East India Company. What power it established? How did it establish? What was the causes of establishment? Then only they can expand. Otherwise, how will it expand? Actually, it expanded under Lord Wellesley, and it was under the rule of Lord Wellesley from 1798 to 1805. This is the next large-scale expansion, you can say, of British rule in India during his time when he came to India in 1798. At that time, Britishers were locked in this life and death struggle with their France and all over the world. There was this war going on. Okay, so this is what actually happened. Now, if we go into back, it was during Aurangzeb's time. He was the last powerful ruler of India. And he established control over literally all parts of India. After his death in 1707, the Mughal governors or Subedars and big zamindars began asserting their authority and establishing regional kingdoms. As powerful regional kingdoms emerged in various parts of India, Delhi, they did not have Delhi as their base. It was not effective. Now by the 18th half or the second half of the 18th century, however, a new power was emerging on the political horizon. And that was British. New power is coming in. They are sensing something. They were waiting to hit on to India. They came with a small trading company. They took permission to come into it. But their main idea was to acquire the territories. Now, how did they become the bosses? We will come to know. If we don't know that, there is no use of studying about what happened, the arrival, the expansion of British power. We have to know what actually happened, right? So, during this time, the East India Company comes to the east part in 1600. From Queen Elizabeth I, they got a right to deal with the East. They travelled from England, from the British Islands via Cape of Good Hope, Africa. Then they came and hit Mumbai, which was Bombay at that time, Madras, Calcutta, and Canton on the Southeast Asia parts. Basic information. Now they had the sole right to trade with India, with the East. India is in the East. This meant, sole trade means, this meant that nobody else could trade except them. With this help of this charter company, they could sail across the ocean and come and hit this place. Their main intention was to buy, they were looking for new lands. They could buy goods at a cheaper price and carry them back to Europe and sell them at higher prices. This was their basic idea at that time. They never knew what is happening in India. They were this trading business type of things they used to do. Bring from here, sell here. That was the job of Britishers. They did not have competition also from other English trading companies. They were a type of that mercantile business, You'll buy in cheap and sell in higher price. This was there, and it was governed by the Queen of Elizabeth. But they could not stop other markets coming into the eastern markets. By the time England came into India through the west coast of Africa, the Portuguese had already established their presence in the western coast of India, Mumbai. Got it? They were already inside India. Basic, you must understand. Vasco da Gama found out the route 1498. By the early 17th century, the Dutch too were exploring the possibilities of trade in the Indian Ocean. Soon the French traders arrived on the scene. Portuguese, Dutch and French traders were already there. The problem was that they were all interested in buying the same thing. Cotton, silk, had a big market, pepper, cloves, this kali mirch, long, ilaichi, darchini, great demand, spices. Now the competition between these people set up the prices high. And these reduce the profit also. If the prices go high, you have to sell it at the same price, your profits will go low. Got my point? That is what they are trying to do. So the British planned a lot of things to extend their empire. They still, I am telling you, they did not know what India has got. They had no clue what is India all about. They knew it's cotton place, we'll go and buy cotton, we'll have spices and all, we'll take. Portuguese are there, French are already there, but we'll try to find out. Now to secure their position, they had fierce battles with the companies. 17th, 18th century, they regular sank each other's ship, shooting that ship, that ship, blockade routes, prevent rival ships from moving with supplies. A lot of things happened. Total mafia gang was going on. Mafia war. Trade was carried with guns. Protect through fortification, extra people had to come in. Now this effort to support their business and carry on to profit, intense conflict with the local rulers also. They have to keep the local also in hand. Na? If there are three groups, whoever will play more, they are going to do the action. Now the they were difficult to save it from politics. Politics came in between. And Britishers were the only guys who could divide and rule. Because they were educated, main thing. Understood? And here in India, people were not allowed to study too much. Sati was going on. Right? Child marriage was going on. Caste system was going on. India was already deprived. Mughals have gone, everything's gone to the dogs. Now, what did the East India Company do? They start doing business with West Bengal. It was set up on the banks of river Hooghly, September 1651, Kolkata. The Howrah Bridge, that is the Hooghly. The Hooghly river goes under that. Now, this was the base for the company traders, known as factors operated. The factory had a warehouse, goods were for export were stored there, it had offices where company officials, people sat down, trade extended, expanded. They got merchants, traders to come to settle near the factory. And in 1969, it began building a fort around the settlement. Fort William. He started building. I am telling you the name. But it started to bribe the Mughal officials also into giving the zamindari rights over their villages. Over 3 villages they wanted, because they wanted to build in Bengal. One of these was Kalikata, or which is now Calcutta. First became Kalikota, and then it came to Calcutta, then it came to Kolkata. Now, the Aurangzeb to issue, they were trying to bribe Aurangzeb to issue a farman granting the company right to trade duty free. They will not pay taxes. Direct they will do business, they will not pay any taxes to anybody. So that they will get a concession, because during this information which is going on, this problem at the sea routes, so they will get that concession. They are trying their brains, they are just working on it. I will come back in the next video.